Hi, this is Kim Hilton. The element of respect. There is a lot in the press and on social media about those who are not standing for the national anthem and in fact are kneeling in protest against it. And obviously they're making a stand on other issues and not necessarily the national anthem itself, but are rebelling against the position of the United States when this anthem is played. I want to share just a few thoughts that may be encouraging to you in your position about this topic. We do in our country have freedom of speech, and it's a wonderful avenue for each of us. In fact, we are free to worship where we choose and how we choose, even who we wish to worship. We are free to speak our mind. We mostly have had freedom of press until recently, I believe. There's been a huge change in the press. I think the values and integrity of press has drastically changed in the recent months. Most of us that have been raised in the United States especially, have had tremendous elements of freedom in our life and have not suffered against it. For those people of color or of another race have experienced discrimination. I have many friends of color or from other countries. In fact, some time back, my husband even asked me one time, he said, "Do you have any friends who are white?" And we laughed because I did not even realize just how many friends of color that I do have, because I personally don't see color. In fact, my closest prayer partner that I've ever had is from Africa, and I love her dearly. And we've had the topic before about discrimination, and we were talking about it, and I asked myself out loud, have I experienced discrimination? And I had to think about it, which meant I really hadn't. I have not been in a situation where I walked into a room and because of my color or hairstyle even, I was picked out of the crowd and told, "No, I won't serve you. No, you can't apply for this job," or automatically be eliminated. I haven't been in my vehicle and felt profiled or picked because of my color. I haven't been in a situation where I felt extreme prejudice was involved in a decision that was made. So I can't say that I've experienced it, but I have had friends I've seen and witnessed it, and I know people of color and even from other nationalities in our country have experienced that. So knowing that, we have to understand where some people are coming from. However, I really believe this act of refusing to stand for the national anthem is the freedom of speech at its worst. We can use our freedom of speech loudly, hugely, and definitely it make an impact in society when we do it right. For example, some of the statues that are getting knocked down and broken, or graffiti being put all over it, that's not the way to do it. I can say, honestly, if I got information on an individual from the past in history that is not quite what we thought it was, I would be one that would be in agreement that maybe we do not need that monument. Our society has changed, and we may not tolerate some of the things that in that time in history that they did. So I would be, even a person as a Caucasian, maybe in support of removing a statue. But I would do it properly. I wouldn't sneak in the middle of the night. I wouldn't take sledgehammers and do things that cause disruption, although it's my freedom, of course, but it doesn't accomplish what I really, in the root of my heart and the root of the principle of the issue, would never be accomplished. So back to this position and what's going on with the national anthem. In our world and in our society, we have a lot of freedom. But there's always a price paid with freedom. I am free to eat what I choose to eat. The price, of course, is putting on weight. I am free to say what I want in a situation because I am free to speak my mind. But the price may be the relationship. You see, for freedom, there's always a price paid. Even in this country, the freedom of the things that we are doing, a price was paid for it to happen. People died for this freedom. People died for the freedom of religion. Think about the roads and the highways that we have. Go back in history. The price paid for the pioneers and Lewis and Clark and the Oregon Trail, and so many things happened for us to even have freedom in our highways. And it's, in fact, if you think about the road or the name of highways, which is freeway, but there's a lot of rules to be on that freeway. So even in life, and even as a Christian, our freedom was paid for all the way up to Christ. All of this freedom that we have, somewhere along the journey, there's a price involved with freedom. And so these people who are refusing to stand for the national anthem are trying to execute and prove a point and speak for a cause. But the price for this freedom that they're choosing to do is the lack of respect by others. That's the price that they're paying. You have an issue about a topic or a group of people or a problem going on, do it the right way. Get signatures. Do lawful and legal protests. Do it the way to get the press involved. Get your voice heard. But let me tell you, in society, there are social rules called social mores. These rules are things that are not written in law. For example, you go to church, and it's not correct to wear a bathing suit in church. There's not a sign at the door that says no bathing suits allowed. However, if someone walked in let's just say a girl, in a little two-piece bathing suit and a towel, and walks barefoot and sits on a towel in church, I would assume most likely someone's going to say something. But it's not quite a rule or law. It's just a social acceptance of that situation. Many things are like that in different locations or just in general in society. There are social rules that we just accept and we know. We know what's appropriate and what is not. We don't go into a wedding half-dressed, or we don't go to a funeral, I think you get my point, carrying a six-pack of beer, or there's just things that you just don't do. So in our country, for the United States, and honestly for other countries, they have national anthems. They have a national flag. It's a representation of a group of people who are banded together for the success of that country. And so it is socially expected. It's a social rule, a social law, not really a formal law, but the social expectation of our society that when that national anthem is played, you stand and put your hand over your heart, stand at attention, even take off your baseball caps. It's just the way it's been done. And it is a way of unifying a very diverse group of people for the sake of the success of the country. And suddenly we have professional athletes who are paid to throw and kick and bounce leather balls, and they're paid unbelievably amount of money. It's crazy how much money they're paid. And they're using that situation as a platform to speak about something else. And it makes them look really bad. It doesn't mean their cause is not important. But what they've done is they've crossed that line and have caused a lot of disruption. And what they were hoping to cause is actually causing a lot of disrespect their way. This country is dividing terribly. It is bit by bit by bit being bitten at on the inside, eventually this divisiveness is going to cause us to fall. More and more issues are being thrown into the press, throwing in front of our eyes to read, whether we agree it or not. We're taking it in. We have a president in our country that it is an obvious agenda to bring him down. And in fact, his son made the comment that there are people that would rather bring him down than to see our country succeed. And it's very scary because whether or not you agree with Trump, whether or not you agree with a cause, if we do not become unified on the inside for the sake of success on the outside, we are going to have nothing left very, very soon. Respect the element of our identity as a country, as a people. Christians, be careful how you are expressing yourself. We do have that freedom, but do it the right way. Do it with respect, and respect will be returned to you. I hope that as we continue in this divisive and volatile, and the weather and the tornadoes and the hurricanes and the earthquakes, I've said in previous recordings, this earth is churning and churning and churning and is going to vomit the evil that we have poured in it. Stand out of respect for the freedom that's been given to you. Don't misuse it. Don't be in other situations at your job and feel it's free to throw words around because you can. But what happens is a price is paid. Don't act inappropriate in the wrong setting. I've said this example before. I am not Amish, but if I were asked or were going to a group of Amish women to speak, I would wear probably one of my longer, just casual skirts and dress in a way that they would receive my message. I would have freedom to dress differently, but would they receive my message? That doesn't mean they're wrong, and it doesn't mean I'm changing who I am, but I am going to them in an appropriate manner for them to receive what I have to say. Many people will say, well, I don't have to wear a dress. I don't have to take my ball cap off. I don't have to. I've got the freedom. I've got the freedom to speak my mind. I've got the freedom to quit my job. I've got the freedom to on and on and on. And where did that freedom come from? It was paid with a price. And you will pay a price for the freedom you exercise. Be careful. Respect freedom. Do it the right way. And you can walk away with a lot of respect, even from people who disagree with you. And they will listen to you. They may or may not agree, but they will listen because you're doing it in a respectful manner. I hope those who are disrespecting the national anthem, the flag of this country, I so understand freedom of choice. I do. I really, really do. But we have to become unified in this process. The next time you're tempted to be disrespectful in a situation, show respect. Keep your opinions to yourself at that moment. And, they say timing is everything. Learn that lesson. If there's really one lesson to put on that top shelf in life, timing is everything. The best thing can be done at the wrong time and nobody hears it. And all they see is that it was the wrong time. I think if we wish to boycott the ball games, I tell you, there's a lot of money involved. And I would have to be honest, and I would be very surprised in the root of this if the fans would give it up. But it counts where the money's at. And I think there's ways and avenues we can get that message clear. I'm very disappointed. I understand their cause. I may or may not agree with it. But I don't like it. And it's setting a precedent for people to just become more and more disrespectful because it's all about our opinion. It's all about what we need. It's all about me. It's all about what I want. It's all about being heard. But it's not at the right time. It's not appropriate. You don't stand up and make your speech and disrespect and interrupt people that are speaking, or like I said, at a funeral or a wedding. You don't just stand up and people that are just disrupting and they think that's the avenue. And then there's all this press that are just trying to praise them. Don't pay attention. What is the most private is the most common. Understand that many, many people don't agree with some things going on, but the problem is we're not speaking up. They call that the silent majority. Oh, you can get in a room and a whole lot of people really, really agree. And we can sit at our typewriters and our computers and our keyboards and sit in our pajamas and, we write all of these opinions and we say all these things about the Lord and we say what we're going to do and we say how we feel. And then we just go to bed and don't do anything. Sometimes I have intentionally turned off my computer and turned off social media so that I wasn't getting so much static and I call it a noisy newspaper into my antenna. And I've turned it all off. And you listen to the silence and you pray to the Lord and you're thinking, where are all these people? Where are you at the courthouses? Where are you with the lawmakers? Where are you when you have all of these opinions? And those of you people that feel you have a stand and a position and you want to kneel, where are you? Do it appropriately and gain our respect, because most of us don't want you mistreated. We don't want people to be discriminated against. It's not fair and it's not right. But for you to gain me respecting you and stepping with you in your cause, I want to see you doing it honorably. Then you will have my support. This is Kim Hilton. God bless you.